The red panels, I noticed a lot of them in the photographs and in the paintings. What's the story?
Well, this was a starting point for me, really. When I wanted to get some kind of theme or a start on my work, I was doing a lot of research in Italy, in Italian hilltop towns, and I noticed that all of the buildings up in the towns had these red panels on the outsides. And I was quite intrigued about this. Some of them, even like this one here, had a white letter I written on them as well. And I found out that there's a story attached to them, and that is because these towns are so compact, if there's a fire or some kind of problem like that, they can't get the fire engines up there. So the firemen have to park up the fire engines, put the hoses on their backs, run up to wherever the fire is, and they need to look around for the nearest red panel because behind that will be a fire hydrant. So obviously then they'll be able to hook up their hoses and put out the fire. But it's quite interesting going into a place and seeing all of the properties having these various red oblongs or squares on the sides of the houses, because you don't really get that here. It's quite a good idea as an idea itself, but there's no standardised red panel.
Right.
They're not all the same. It's as if the homeowners have been allowed to create their own red panel according to the size of door or aperture that they need to put the fire hydrant in. And some of them paint a white letter I on, which stands for idranti, which is Italian for hydrant.
Right.
And some don't. So you're walking around and you see all of these red squares or red rectangles on beautifully coloured painted walls or wooden sections of buildings or stone or what have you. And I just became very drawn to them. I mean, we're drawn to the colour red anyway, aren't we? I mean, it's such an evocative.
So the colour's an important thing.
I think the colour's important. The meaning behind what the panels are became important later, because at that point I didn't know or understand, I hadn't quite figured out what they were. There was something sociable about that everyone took responsibility for it. I quite like that. Everyone, but it was, I think, the fact that they were all the same but different, and the colour was so strong, and I was seeing that red compared to all these other more neutral colours, and I love that. And as you see with these, I mean, you get next to this hydrant panel, there's this green stain which is tumbling down the side of the wall because there's a copper pipe there and it's corroded. And of course red and green are complementary colours, so you get these really nice accidents happening. And in this one here, you've just got so many different contrasts of textures between really, really rough areas of wall, areas of brick, render which has fallen off, and yet the panel's clinging on. And then I was looking more deeply at them and I was thinking, well, I really like the rustiness and the age of them. So I then started to think about these panels having a kind of nobility because they've been around for so long. They hadn't been replaced.
Right.
They've just been left on there. So there was this idea about the elements, the weather, frost, rain, wind, acting upon the surfaces of these and gradually taking the full redness off. And so there'd be a red, but it would have been paled because of time. Things would have happened to that. And so gradually that panel would start to rust and gradually it would start to disappear.
So it's the ageing of it that matters as much as the actual colour and shape of it to start off with?
I think the personality of it, because they're all different, would mean that I would walk around these towns taking lots and lots of photographs of people's red hydrant panels. I mean, they must have thought I was mad because most tourists probably would take photographs of nice views or a view down a street, beautiful as that is. And there would be this English guy walking around these Italian hilltop towns, getting down low, taking portrait photographs almost of their hydrant panel covers. So there's something about the personality of them,
Right.
which made me think, well, can I do something with that as a formal device in paintings, in terms of these varieties of shape and the different ways maybe textures can be created. So something about the personality, but just something formally about red and how red interacts with other colour in the sense that it can be so dominant and so aggressive at times that it kind of frustrates the other colours around it, but at other times there's a perfect harmony between that red and the other colours and tones that are available in a painting, really. So that's probably why I am fascinated by this as a formal device and why I use it a lot. And even though this particular source material is probably 5 or 6 years old now, there's still a recurrence from time to time, or I feel an emotional need sometimes, or even if it's more of an intellectual answer to a problem in a painting, is I will put a red square, or I'll put a red
Right. So do you
rectangle into the picture.
Sorry. Do you sometimes put red squares into pictures from a source material that didn't have one?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's possibly a convenient answer to a formal problem I've got with a painting, because it's possibly too flat or too boring, too interesting. And sometimes it's because I'm curious to see what will happen. Anyway, because the painting might appear a bit dull. Well, let's get some red on it. Let's get a big red shape on it and let's see what will happen.